Okay. Hello, everyone. We're back with more weirdness and cuteness.
Mostly weird,
Yeah.
weird and random.
Yep. What did I do?
What did you not do?
Okay, I'm gonna close that. I don't know if my computer or the recording picked that up, but I somehow my computer played a song. I'm praying the recording didn't pick that up because
I didn't hear it, so you're good.
good, because I am not about to get copyright and banned.
There's
So,
no royalties on this. We don't get anything.
so instead of doing more dark, murderous stuff that makes you question hu- humanity,
Although it's fun, and there's sadly one too many stories that we could go into. Yeah,
emphasis on sadly.
yeah.
So instead, we're going to go back on how growing up has changed between when we grew up
hmm
and now.
Um, well, half of it.
Yeah,
Let's say, 'cause,
half.
we are in our early 20s, and if we
Mhm.
talk the last 20 years, this would be a 4-hour podcast or documentary. So we're doing it from 2000 to 2010,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
So the first thing is, what's one thing you missed about your childhood?
How simple? Yeah, I would say simpler life was because when you were a kid, your parents did things for you. They paid for things. Once you leave high school and you're at the time age of 18, you can go to um, college or university, you can get a job. And at that point, your parents are like, we'll help you, but you make your own money, you pay for your own things. So, yeah, that it's good that I'm making money, but also sucks because my money is going to things that I need as a human.
Hmm.
Yeah. And things are a lot more better as far as trends. I don't know. People can agree to disagree.
I would say in terms of trends, I think we took the word trend out and put it as challenge.
Oh, that's true. Okay, we can get into that because I think by 2010 is when that whole era started happening.
Oh,
I remember doing a few of them.
I never did the cinnamon challenge.
I did. Don't do it. Don't do
Don't,
it.
don't.
No, please don't.
But
Please don't.
skip a few years forward. The ice bucket challenge.
I did that too.
I did that one twice. Um, don't ask me why. I don't know. But uh, if by some reason you're still doing it, one, I'm only mildly judging you. Two,
Well, maybe not for the reason that it was before.
yeah.
Yeah.
Two, don't don't do it shirtless. That is a bad idea. That is a bad idea. You will get sick. Speaking from experience, you will get sick.
Yeah, yeah. No, you will. I was like, wait, actually, not so much, but yeah, no, you will. It was nice.
And then
So,
I just have to bring this one up because why the I can't believe I'm saying this, the fire challenge.
see, I stopped at most at the ice bucket challenge because I thought, oh, it's spreading awareness. It did nothing to spread awareness. It was just an idiotic thing that people did because, the early days before it was called clickbait. It's like if they're doing it, I'ma do it, and if you're tagged, that means you have to do it.
But like in terms of the fire challenge, you're not the Human Torch. It's basic knowledge that fire equals ow. Ow equals don't do it.
Yeah, don't do things for stupidity. Don't do things just for the views. I will emphasize. But let's go back to simpler innocent times.
Oh yeah. The one thing I miss from my childhood, aside from it being simple, I miss. I feel like this goes for half of my stuff. I miss my hometown, especially snow. I miss snow.
I relate because when snow comes, it's like, oh, it's pretty. When it's for 3 to 4 months, it's like, I'm sick of this. After like maybe the first week or so, depending how much snow you get in your city.
Well, okay, I miss snow. I don't miss slipping on covered ice and almost breaking my shit.
Ooh.
That I don't miss.
Yeah, that's not fun.
You,
Not fun at all.
you don't know pain until you trip and gravity body slams you.
Yeah. I think even just reflecting back at being a kid was that everything was pretty much standard and straightforward, where at a certain age you start going to school, you make friends, and you do the homework assignments that you're told to do from kindergarten all the way through middle school and high school. It's like everything is set out. Society prepares you and they tell you, okay, do this, 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 and this. At a certain age, it's like, you do you. And you'll get judged for it by all the people that are older than you. As a kid, they're like, oh, they're a kid, they're fine. No, doesn't last long.
This some people may take what I'm going to say out of context, but fuck you. I know lots of people can't say this, but I miss the part of being in school where you would go and get picked on. Only because it taught me how to have good clapbacks.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Like knowing and learning how to stand up for yourself.
Yeah, Anne will know in our friend group, I could have some pretty good, clapbacks.
I mean, I've participated in those moments here and there. Not gonna point out who, but there's a certain
You know,
game that,
you know who you are. You know who you are.
there's a certain game that like it brings that side out for me. So if you know, you know. Sorry if I made it awkward, but hi, I am Queen of Awkward. Oh.
The oh god, the
Oh,
second
no.
the second thing is, what is your favorite memory from your childhood?
The number one thing I would say, once summer break came around, the old neighborhood I used to live in, the park was literally 5 minutes walk.
Oh.
So just waking up, eating breakfast, and knowing like you can do one of two things: go to the pool, play at the park, ride your bike, or you can be a bum and watch movies. I don't mind the movies and playing computer games, which I'll get into a bit more, but going to the park was the most time that I didn't mind being outside. Now I choose not to go outside unless I need to buy something badly or to go meet with friends, which costs money.
Mhm.
But yeah, just go to the park, family barbecues, that kind of stuff. It's always so much fun.
As soon as you said family barbecues, I thought of barbecues at my sister's place because her dad is a Latino.
Mm.
And if anyone knows Latino barbecues, I'm almost positive it's the same for Filipinos.
Oh yeah, I know
We
where you're going with this.
we get down. We get down.
There's no such thing as a small gathering and just bringing like, like fruit, like a few skewers or whatever to put on the grill, and burgers. No, like expect everyone to bring 1 to 2 things
We
minimum.
we had enough tacos to feed a small African village,
Hmm.
and then it was it was obviously some of the people that lived with me, and then some of the people that lived there, some tias, some tios, some family, their kids, and enough Corona beer to bring down a bowl.
Makes sense, yeah. Oh, summertime used to be so much fun, and now it's like, you want a good summer, you need to make plans. You don't have plans, you're a bum in the house all summer because you're bored in the house and you're bored in the house.
Hmm. Or especially now with the current state of the world, summer
Questionable,
is
physically.
summer is doing this, hopping on Zoom and just bullshitting.
Yep, that's pretty much it. Oh, let's hope summer 2021 is a bit better. Who knows?
I
I have no idea.
This is a bit off topic, but isn't all of our stuff. uh, as soon as the you know what is over, what's the first thing you'll do?
Heck, invite all my friends and we go to a karaoke bar.
Oh
There's like
yes.
any activity that I can be surrounded with all my friends. We eat, we drink bubble tea specifically, and just like do whatever shit we used to do in college or in high school. Like, I
I
want to see my friends. That's it.
I aside from the friends part, because my friends are scattered all over the goddamn world. I want to go see a movie so bad.
Oh, true. Nothing beats being in a theater.
H, God bless HBO Max and Disney Plus.
Hmm. Oh, another thing I hope that happens. I used to love the summer food festivals or amusement parks. Dude, I want to go back and eat. Well, I can still eat good food, and like when patios open up again here, I could do that. But food festivals are nothing compared to dining in. So who knows? And I also want to see family that I have not physically seen in a year, other than through FaceTime. Thankful for technology that we have video call.
Hmm. Can you can you imagine if all this happened and it was still like, let's say in the 40s?
Oh my gosh. I think just then, like, people were starting to use phones more frequently, but even then, it's like there's a whole process of like connecting the different lines and stuff. No,
Hmm.
no,
Like
good.
compared to now, I can just whip my phone out and send Anna a text.
Hmm.
Or
You don't even have to type it. You can tell your device to call someone for you.
most of the time, it's just some dumb meme.
Mhm. Yeah, these are always good.
Unless they relate so deeply to you that you're like, why? Why am I in this?
It's like true, but why you gotta come at me for?
Hmm.
I did not ask to be um reminded of this, but okay, we're here now.
Yeah. And one thing you wish you had growing up that yeah, one thing you wish you had growing up that we have now.
Hmm. I feel like it depends on the age, but I think when I was younger, the biggest thing I wanted was a phone because of my older cousins. Like, I think I don't know what the name of this phone is. Oh, the Motorola Razr phone.
Mm.
That like cool like flip phone that was so sleek and smooth and was thin. I remember seeing my cousin have a pink version of that. I'm like, when I'm old enough and I get my own phone, this will be my first phone. It was so cool. And like, I think I just wanted it for the games because that's what they would show me. Oh my God. Berto. Berto, I thought this wasn't a true crime episode.
Okay. I had some CBD stuff, so I'm a bit chill. So if I seem off, shut up.
I just meant the lights. I'm like, hello? Is everything okay? Okay.
So, yeah. One thing I wish I had as a kid that I have now. Uh, oh yeah, depression meds. I know that's like I could have had it then.
Hmm.
For anyone who's on mental health meds, you know, I don't even have to say it, but you know, as soon as you get like 3 in your system, boom.
Hmm. And I think like knowing your story from our other friends' podcasts, like I know that would have meant like a whole new experience of what you had growing up if that
Hmm.
wasn't that was available to you. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a good
and
thing.
I'm I'm not saying this as because I miss it because I low-key don't. Uh, I wish I was still in well, okay, yeah, I guess I do kind of miss it. I wish I was still in scouts because like the knowledge that it passed on to me now,
Mm.
I wish I had still known more of it when I was a kid, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I remember wanting to do something like that, like Girl Scouts, but my parents did not know what that was or how to get me into that. So they knew of it, just could not afford it because they
Mm,
also did not know about it
yeah,
that much.
I think the main reason that I kind of just opted out of going to like the actual Boy Scouts, it kind of got old, like just getting into the uniform, going to the things, and I guess kind of like not relating to the people that you're seeing every other week.
Mm, yeah, that's true.
It's like, hi, I don't want to be here, but hi.
Yeah. Like, I want to be your friend, but I don't see you often enough to call you my friend, so I
Yeah,
guess you're an acquaintance.
and I think part of that, what brought me out was whenever I would say like, oh, I kind of just want to leave, my
Mm.
grandfather would say, oh, but you'll like it later on, and I'm like I'm just like, I love you, but pinche perra.
I mean, I know for some people, like, they go on later in life still being associated to those kind of things. So if, let's say, you did like it, that would have become a big part of your life. But it's like, that's on you. You're signing and doing all these activities that you may or may not remember. So it's like, you can get out if you don't like it.
The only thing I do miss about it, there were some fun events, like camping.
Yeah, camping's fun.
Although, just like everything else, location, location, location.
Yeah.
You don't want to go to a place where there's big bear activity.
Hmm. Yeah, I can agree with that. I didn't know what camping was until maybe I was 10. But it's like one or two adults responsible for 10 children
Yeah,
out in the wilderness.
basically. Basically.
Yeah.
The next one, before we get into, I guess, the favorite things of our childhood, show and
Which
tell.
there's a lot.
I don't know. I don't know what I'll call this. What are your thoughts on apps and tech being like so easily accessible to kids younger than us?
As someone who grew up with the only technology presented to me being the TV and a desktop computer, I would say I have more appreciation when I don't, or when I need a break from it, because I was so used to just having like limited that now I find myself having to need it a lot more. So I can imagine like for kids, like there's 2-year-olds that can grab a phone and they know to slide an iPhone and turn on the camera. I'm like, you only know this because you've seen people do it or someone taught you. So it's like their eyes, first of all, are already starting to deteriorate because of the blue light from screens. And also it's like, yes, their world is going to involve technology, but we grew up without it and we were perfectly fine. So, like, I lived before it, technically don't need it. So kids now, it's like, if they don't know about it, they're going to lose out when they're older, which is sad. Really, kind of sad.
Yeah. Like it's when I tell people like what year I was born, they're confused because 90s baby here, but the first technology I remember is technically the stuff of the early 2000s.
Mm.
But the only computer I had was the old computer, like the,
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
yeah,
Like those big, like, heavy duty, like, giant machine behind the monitor kind of computer. The Windows one.
yeah, like the early Windows one. So,
Windows too.
and the first phone, I'm jealous of anyone,
God.
anyone whose first phone is this and up. I'm jealous.
If there's any kid that has a phone that is this big already as their first phone, I was excited as a kid just to even have a phone. Like we had flip phones. Those were the ish. They still exist.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like it's more of our grandparents that would use that.
Yeah, it's like back then, if you had a flip phone, you were popular. Now, if you have a flip phone, you get roasted until you change or until you go into a place where they don't even know what phones is.
Hmm. I think even for some people, like I have a friend that works in accounting. He has a work phone, but it's a flip phone.
Mm-hmm.
People can only call or text him on that. They can't send anything else unless he's at work and on his computer, which makes sense. It's like, dude, the big screen, not really necessary. Even for texting, not fully necessary, but it makes life easier, for sure.
And I'm sure most people who were born after, let's say, '09, they don't know what a house phone is.
I don't even know if they remember what DVDs are.
Oh,
DVDs and VHS. If you're old enough and you
yes.
have a box of VHS tape in your basement, then you are. Hold on. See, I had to kind of search this also. So between apparently the years of 1996, I believe, all the way to 2010, were millennial. I mean, sorry. No, before that, you're a millennial. If you're born 1996 to 2010, you are Gen Z. There's another name if you were born after that.
That
So I'm
is
sorry, if you were born 2010 up to now, you're not Gen Z. You can say that, but you're not according to the people that make the names for decades and just like things that happened during that time. Like there's a 15-year gap before it's a new generation. Pretty much.
here's something that I just thought of that is weird, but also accurate.
Okay, what is it?
At least it's just for Americans. If you're the same age as us, you probably don't remember 9/11,
Oh,
but you're going to remember Capitol Hill. You're going to remember
yeah,
that.
that's a thing. Oh,
You're
shit.
going to remember that.
Oh shit, that's true. Oh fuck, wait, Berto.
Hmm.
Because you said that. Okay, so 9/11 happened 2001. That happened 2021.
Mhm.
I mean, both were really bad. One, of course, was the absolute worst thing
Deadlier.
that I can remember, for sure. I just remember hearing about it as a kid. I didn't watch it because
Yeah.
at that time I was 3.
That would be a bad thing to show a 3-year-old. That would be a bad thing to show a
I think
3-year-old.
it's a movie,
Mm-hmm.
which a lot of people thought it was. Even with what happened in DC, they thought that wasn't real. But
Surprise.
okay, let's change to the happy
Yeah.
stuff now.
So, I guess I'll show this, call this the show and tell. Yeah, let's go with that.
For sure, and tell, because I have some things that
Yeah.
go along with what we talked about.
So I guess let's start off with music. What's some,
I have a list
yeah,
because the fact that it's going to be about the early 2000s. I had to make a list. Hold on. God damn, how many things did I write down? Okay, music. Very first music that you can remember. I guess nursery rhymes, for sure.
yeah.
You want
That's-
to go that young? To start?
I feel like, I guess all of them.
Yeah.
Those are, although looking back on it, some of those are really dark.
I think a few of them have a dark story behind them, but just I'm talking about the classic nursery rhymes.
Yeah.
Kids nowadays, for them, a nursery rhyme is Baby Shark.
I'm glad the nursery rhymes I know aren't that. I mean,
Things
I know it, but I'm glad it wasn't mine.
Nursery rhymes like Old MacDonald had a
Oh
farm,
yes.
Twinkle Little Star, Baba Black Sheep, those kind of things. Now kids are listening to things that go with animations, which I'm like, I get it, but I know my wheels on the bus without needing to watch a video.
The date they make it, I'm pretty sure they have already. But
Oh, I'm pretty sure they do.
if the date they make an animation for the classic nursery rhymes, just release them on Spotify.
I
and-
can attest that my friend's child grew up watching a video of Wheels on the Bus. They didn't learn it in preschool. They learned it from YouTube.
Even though I could contribute to the stuff that's on YouTube, I love it and hate it.
There's another one would be Disney. Anything from Disney movies. or shows? Because that would be like a general thing. Because if
Yeah.
I say like each individual one is like, oh, Disney,
Uh,
Nickelodeon, too.
although, for some people, this will be weird for a guy to say, it doesn't fucking matter. Disney is Disney.
Disney is Disney. You're never too old for Disney.
Beauty and the Beast. Some of the best damn music.
Aladdin, though. A Whole New World? Come on. And then things like The Jungle Book,
Lion King.
Toy Story. What else? I mean, the Disney princess ones were really good also. I mean, Aladdin is a... Well, the movie Aladdin was about Jasmine, who was a Disney princess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mulan.
Mulan. Pocahontas.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna put Cinderella because that was the first Disney princess that I remember watching.
Yeah, I have to say, compared to now, old Disney was the shit.
Oh my god, yeah.
After Frozen, okay, after Frozen 2,
Yeah.
Frozen
like,
2 was still good.
Frozen is good. Like the new Disney animations are really good, as well as like the Disney original movies. They're all really good. It's just it doesn't hit me the same way because it's all influenced by early Disney stuff. Like High School Musical.
Oh,
You grew up like me with High School
Yes.
Musical. These songs from there, if you hear the first note, you know. I remember playing those songs on repeat, and I could remember, god damn it, every single word.
For once it wasn't-
What?
for once it wasn't me.
Oh, what other? Okay, I guess we'll go more into things that we watch with that one. But Disney movies or TV soundtracks, some of the earliest things that at some point you listen to them.
It's bad that I know this is just because of my childhood and of who I am as a person. I know the soundtrack to the first Child's Play by heart.
Wow.
Because I watched that as a kid. I kind of brings to reason why I fucking hate dolls with a burning passion. But
As a kid, I wasn't even allowed to be in the room when the adults were watching that, so I'm surprised you watched that as a child.
I watched that, The Mummy, and for any history buffs, I had a really fucked up childhood. I had a really fucked up childhood.
We're all listening like, oh wait, why did I watch these as a kid? But I have memories of that.
Funny. Saving Private Ryan. That's all I'm gonna say is Saving Private Ryan. If you know,
I did
you know.
not know that between the 2000s.
Oh God.
Okay. I
So,
think-
in terms of music, the first one I can remember is actually one in Spanish. Niña Mujer.
What does that translate to?
Well, I know it as Niña Mujer, but it's Niña y Mujer, which basically means girl and woman.
Oh.
If anyone lived with or in a Hispanic household, you probably know it. It's older than me, but you probably know it.
Even for me, I remember a few like Filipino songs that like they still played at parties now, and I'm surprised that it was when I was a child that they were released. For my Filipino people, Ocho Ocho, Pamela, the spaghetti song. Yes, there's a song called that. It is not what you think it is. Virgo knows this song. There's a Filipino song that I grew up hearing as a child called Jumbo Hot Dog. If you know, you know.
I'm not.
Birdo knows. Birdo's part of the Gnome Club.
I'm not throwing any hate, just an observation. I thought K-pop songs had obscure names.
Oh. Okay, moving on.
So the next song that I remember, it again, Filipino Mexican parties. Oh my god, Mexican parties. Daddy Yankee, Gasolina.
Oh my
You
goodness.
you hear that once
They played that at a party?
at a party. I went to some okay, and I had a best friend who's Mexican. His brother played it, so it was kind of like me when I was young. I thought car industry, yes. Went to read the like went to look up what it means now, and I'm like, I love this song even more. I love the song even more.
Uh,
And it's sad that some kids nowadays don't know who this is. Any
yeah,
song by
I'll hear the song and be like, what the fuck is
yeah,
that?
any song by Hikaru Utada. Any song, any song by her. Up here.
I remember as a kid, like it was always one of those things that still happens in my house today. Where Saturday morning I'll wake up, my dad's playing like classic songs that were more popular before I was born, but I grew up listening to them. Celine Dion, Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, the Beatles, ABBA, um, the Bee Gees. I grew up on that music.
Now that you mentioned Michael Jackson, Thriller, Beat It, and what was the other song? I can't think of it, but Michael Jackson,
Legend. Legend.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. to the king of pop.
And
I don't care what people say about him. He was the king of pop. He had good music.
and old. I'm talking early Taylor Swift,
Oh yeah.
and at least one song from her dad.
Yeah. I think a few other ones I remember that kind of more 90s, but it leaked into the early 2000s also. Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Britney Spears,
Oh
Christina
boy,
Aguilera,
Britney Spears.
J-Lo. Oh, now I have a Britney song stuck in my head.
Same, except the one that's stuck in my head is, I think it was by her. Toxic.
Oh yeah. I think that's starting to become popular again because of TikTok.
Of course it has. Of course it has.
Some kind of cover thing with that. That's also
That's
how I find out about music today.
that's
That I get it from TikTok.
that's another thing. I'm glad was not around when I was a kid. Can you imagine kids from the early 2000s doing Fortnite dances?
Then again, I don't even know if people would know how to. Oh, no, because okay, for that to happen, YouTube would have had to exist, which it did right in the middle. It came out in 2005. I didn't know YouTube until 2007.
That's another thing I missed. Early YouTube videos.
Okay, that can be a separate one. I think that needs its
Ugh.
own episode. The evolution of YouTube.
All I have to say is, for those who know, just kidding films.
Ryan Higa.
Ryan Higa.
Kev Jumba. And for my music people, AJ Raphael, David Choi, J.R. Aquino, Andrew Garcia. I could keep going on, but let's keep going.
He's a bit older, but David So.
Yeah, on and off, yeah, with music, but still current. Okay, back to music. Okay, what else do I have on my list? Hannah Montana, Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato. All because of Disney. Jonas Brothers. Please tell me you grew up with Jonas Brothers
It,
Virgo.
it was hard not to because everyone was singing songs in my schools, and I grew up with a younger sister. It was hard to escape.
Because I mean, they did their comeback like 3 years ago. If you say you're a fan of the Jonas Brothers, or that you are a fan of the Jonas Brothers, there's two sides. You were a fan of them when they were first coming out in the 2000s, or you're a fan of them now. There's also the group of people that grew up listening to them as a kid and then now. They can see the full thing. And I'm low-key judging the people that say they're only a fan of them now, because how dare you?
Hmm.
They had some bangers then. They still have bangers now. But it's like, you need to know the process of all of them.
I'm what I call, I'm gonna out myself, but I don't care. I'm like a closeted fan of theirs because I only listen to their songs if it pops up. Like if it pops up, I'm like, cool, play. Because it's not exactly my type, but I will vibe to it.
That's fair. Some songs, it's just like, I hear them now, I'm like, I remember where I was when I first heard this or how old I was. Jonas Brothers are a classic of the 2000s.
Here's one that again, Mexican friends, Prince Royce.
You're not talking about our friend, right?
No, if our friend is Mexican, he has been hiding something.
Last time I checked, our friend Royce is, as far as I know, he's not.
I'm just going to say wrong skin tone and way more hair.
Yep, that's for sure. Okay, now I'm gonna name a bunch of artists that are Canadian. I think most of them, if not maybe a handful of what I'm gonna name, these artists made it into the US music industry or mainstream music. Shawn Mendes, Danny Fernandez, Tyler Madero, Fifi Dobson, this one, I forgot that his music came out in the 2000s, but Justin Bieber.
As soon as you said Canadian, I was like,
Stop it!
here it is.
Because, okay, I was part of that team where, okay, I remember his music first came out here. I was watching TV and there's like music videos that play in between programs. When his song One Time came on, I was like, what did I just watch and who is this kid that has a high-pitched voice? And then when he became even more popular, I was a secret fan because I didn't want to be judged, where I said I hated Justin Bieber, but I was okay with his music. But it's always like, if you like Justin Bieber, that means you're a fangirl of him. If you don't, then you were seen as cool, I guess. I don't know, but yeah.
Take it as someone who has to deal with who used to have to deal with it.
There's also
Oh. Well, I guess I can say the thing I had to deal with when it comes to being a hidden fan, K-pop. Because before BTS and it being mainstream, if you said that you liked K-pop and you played it in front of your friends, they would judge you. So, yeah.
I'm back. I'm sorry. Family call. Because I live with my dear sister who likes to yell. I love her, but you're on separate parts of the house. It's like you hear it somewhere. Okay. What other Canadian artists were on here that I didn't mention? Cardinal Official. Drake.
Oh, Drake.
Drake.
Oh,
Drizzy Drake. Who else? Avril Lavigne.
I was just about to say that. Oh.
I think at one point people called her like the pop princess of Canada, which I can agree with. I knew her music. I wasn't the biggest fan because I was a little bit young, but I know her music.
Here's one that I know some of her songs, but I don't have all of her on my playlist. Jordan Sparks.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, Jordan Sparks.
Her song Battlefield is the story of my life.
Oh hell yeah. Also, most of these that I have, they're all Canadian artists. Carly Rae Jepsen with Call Me Maybe. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy. So here's my number. So call me maybe.
Tell me why, as soon as you played that, the version that popped in my head was by Timothy
Stop
De La
it.
Ghetto.
No. Oh my goodness.
Got that?
When I hear that, the parody, Wasabi Production. I'll save that for when we do a YouTube throwback. But if you watch the Wasabi Productions parody of Call Me Maybe, that's literally what put them on the map for YouTube.
I have to say, I'm just going to say the small part in terms of them. Alex Now.
Let's not get into it. Let's not get into it.
That's why I said I'm just going to say the small part because anyone who knows, you know.
Let's not get into it.
So, Carrie Underwood, American.
Oh my gosh, true.
I keep on saying I hate country music, but there are some exceptions. Cause
Her version of it, like, I don't listen to her much, but I think of country music, I think of her for sure.
like
Beyonce though.
Beyonce.
Queen Bee, Beyonce. Her hubby, Jay-Z, Chris Brown. Who else do I have on my list? JT, Justin Timberlake,
Oh yeah.
Usher, John Kingston, Chris Brown.
I kind of fell off of Chris Brown after anyone who knows. Just gonna say Chris Brown and Rihanna.
Riri, Rihanna. We love Rihanna. She stood under an umbrella, Ella.
I really hope I don't get copyrighted for that. I really hope I don't get.
Jessie Mccartney is another notable one.
This because of who I am as a person. A little bit before my time, but at the same time, he's still popping out songs. Eminem.
Ooh. I forgot about that, yeah.
Early Eminem. I don't care what anybody says.
Headley, though, too, and Simple Plan. Have you heard of them, too?
Yeah.
They were all really good, too. Kelly Clarkson.
Yes.
Because you said Carrie Underwood with
Yes.
American Idol. Yeah. Lady Gaga.
Oh God. half of the kids now know her, and I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm not saying this is a bad thing. Half of the kids know her now because of Blackpink.
Oh, that's true.
Again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing.
That's what they know her for, though. 'Cause that's the most.
Yeah,
current-
but just like with the Jonas Brothers, if you know her old stuff too. Oh, since you mentioned her, I don't listen to her stuff now, but Pink.
I was about to say Pink.
Good Lord, Pink.
Oh my goodness, her early songs, like the aggression from some of them, and then she had a moment where she was like doing more mellow stuff, all like R&B sounds. Pink is a classic.
I keep on mispronouncing their name, but Evanescence.
Evanescence.
I keep on saying I keep on mispronouncing their name, but their music is my life story. It is my
I got
lifeblood.
you. I think I remember hearing a bit of their music. I didn't know it was by them until much later. Their stuff was really good.
The only way I got introduced to them was by the not good. It was a movie, Daredevil. Don't recommend the movie. I recommend the soundtrack.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Did I say this person already? Alicia Keys.
Ooh.
Miley Cyrus.
I can listen to her songs, but I can't be seen listening to her songs.
I feel like with her again, it's like there's a phase. There's like people that were fans of her as Hannah Montana, where she had a lot of songs, and then her own original stuff back then as well, just as Miley. There's a lot of stuff with that, and then who else? Did I say this person? I can't remember now. John Kingston, Usher. Trying to think of ones off the top of my head now. Also, Owl City. I think most people know him just for his song Fireflies.
Him. Oh yes. Oh yes.
That took over the internet for quite a bit.
I keep on forgetting that person had a name.
They have a name, but I'm wondering why they. I don't know. It could be their own thing, but yeah.
Oh God. This is a song. This is also early YouTube. God. Peanut butter jelly time.
Jelly time. Wait. Also, Gummy Bear song.
Oh God. Since we're throwing in, I guess now, memeable songs.
Crazy Frog.
And I feel embarrassed that I know this, but once again, growing up with a sister. Barbie World or whatever.
Oh, yep.
Oh God.
Yep.
The only way I will listen to that song, don't ask me why, but if I'm drunk, and specifically off of soju.
That's fair. I feel like there's other ones, but I'm like, some I listen to their things here and there, but not a lot of them. Like, quite a few people are still relevant now. Other people, it's like, they only know them by like their one-hit wonder type of thing.
I think anyone who knows old school JK knows this. The Go to School song by the Uncles.
Nice Guys by Ryan Higa and Kev Jumba.
Oh yes.
Oh my goodness. I remember when someone starts singing that during lunchtime, everyone starts singing it. Oh, and Jason Mraz too.
Oh.
I remember when his song came out, same thing. One person starts a bit, the entire class will start singing.
Mm-hmm. Oh, this is a person that I completely forgot to mention. David Archuleta.
I was thinking about that, but I'm like, I wonder what he is up to now.
Yeah.
I think last time I checked, he's still doing music, but not as much. Oh, also Cody Simpson.
Oh God.
Hold on, 1 second, 1 second. I have this one, his first original album, plus the other three.
That's what that is.
Cody Simpson, my bae at the time, up until I turned 13.
She flashed the album cover, and I was like, who? No, it makes sense.
Cody Simpson. I have the doll of this man as well. Do not judge me.
She is more of a fan than my sister was.
I had a shirt. I have all of his albums. I have this.
I don't think
the one person that I follow next to Selena Gomez for a lot of music.
I don't think we mentioned her. We could have. Katy Perry.
Oh my gosh, I forgot. How dare me.
Katy Perry.
Katy Perry. Oh my. Yeah, that's true.
Her songs are still bomb.
But her sound has changed a lot when she first started.
Oh yeah.
Or when she started to blow up. I want to say Shakira as well.
Ooh.
But I'm not sure. Is she more like 2000s relevant or like late 90s relevant? I don't know.
All I know is growing up, the Latin Queen.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's arguable with J-Lo though.
Hold on, I just thought of someone since I've mentioned all these Hispanic artists. Selena.
Oh my God, that's true.
Not Selena Gomez.
No,
Selena. Selena.
Wait, how do you say her last name? I don't want to say it.
I don't know her last name. I'm a bad fan, but just
Lena Quintanilla. I think and I hope that's how you say it.
Oh.
And her Netflix series is coming soon based off of her.
Oh shit! It is. I have to say, if anyone young is watching this, do your ears a favor. Look up Selena, especially if you're Mexican. Your parents might have played it. If they haven't, one, how dare they? Two, do all y'all a favor. Do you a learning and listen to her.
Another one that I randomly have, but I'm like, her music career was very short. Vanessa Hudgens.
Oh sweet Jesus. Oh sweet Jesus. Basically, anyone from Nick Nick, Disney.
Yeah, I think that's it. I feel like I don't know. Alicia Keys though too. T-Pain.
There was one more person. Like I have a whole playlist in my face. Did we mention Kelly Clarkson?
Yes.
You can't be.
Breakaway.
You can't be this young, or like you can't be born in either 90s or 2000s and not know who she is.
Mm-hmm. I can agree with that. Ooh, another one that I'm also looking through my playlist as well that I have. Sarah Bareilles. Yeah. I only knew one song by her though. So I'm like, yes she was, but I don't know, that could just be me. That's all I knew by her. Destiny's Child also, that's where Beyonce got her start initially from that group. Yeah, I think that's all I can remember right now. If we missed any, please let us know who you listened to.
Oh yeah.
Missed, I think, a good chunk.
I'm just going to say this. Here's one person that I'm glad was not from the 90s to 2010. Oh, just saying his name pains me.
Say it.
6ix9ine. If he was, I'm just saying he is what's wrong with he is part of what's wrong with current hip hop. Just if you're tired of American hip hop, either go to reggaeton or Korean hip hop.
I think that's one thing that like I know it was starting to get more popular, but it was around 2010 or 2011 where like I knew of K-pop because my friends were trying to learn their dances, but that was like the early start, and then fast forward like 8 years later, it's everywhere.
I
K-pop has entered mainstream music.
I kind of miss when it wasn't mainstream. I kind of miss it. Ugh, don't even get me started on how it is on Twitter.
Nice.
Ugh.
Okay.
So,
That's just music.
yeah. We talked like for 45 minutes of just music, which I am all about because if you know me, where's the camera? All here, music, all there.
Yeah. Should we go into the other categories?
Yeah.
Or... Okay.
So, what's one thing or things that you have from your childhood that made it?
Okay. I'm surprised I still have it, but there's like a little box or a few boxes that I keep in my room. One of the things that I found and uncovered just for this. Anyone remember these? Before we had games on the phone?
Flash back.
Nintendo, well, this is the DSi because it has like the little camera, but I had the original DS Lite. I was not cool enough to have a Game Boy yet, but this was a big thing for sure.
It's funny that you mentioned a Game Boy because aside from the very first PlayStation, the old foldable Game Boy was my shit.
I wanted that so bad. I remember going to my friend's house and I would sneak and hide in the washroom of her house and play on her Game Boy because I didn't get it. So when I got a DS Lite, I remember being so happy because I told my parents that, okay, if I get all straight A's, can you get this for me? And the day they got it, I was like, I was happy, but it was also like, that was the start of my bad eyesight.
Yeah.
Another thing that I have, okay, so I have the one that I first had, which is these little guys.
God.
The batteries. If I change the batteries, I can still play with this, but I think 2 years ago, because me and my coworker at the time, we were talking about them, they released this a few years ago. So look at the comparison. This was the version 3 of a Tamagotchi. This is the new one where if I had batteries in this, because I stopped playing it after a while, this was all black and white. This has color in it.
It's basically the difference between the old GameCube. I mean,
Oh my god!
that. Oh, I meant to say Game Boy and I say GameCube. That is
I have my own. Went to someone else's house to play a GameCube.
Yeah, same. I had to go to either my best friends or my sisters to.
I guess speaking of game consoles, you have a PlayStation. Do you remember the very first PlayStation?
Yes, I had it.
Wow.
I keep on. I tell everybody, aside from the newest one, and the small handheld ones that nobody liked ever. Aside from those, I've had all of them.
Dang. So were you always just strictly PlayStation, or did you dabble in playing Xbox games at the time?
I played the first one with my friend at his place. Had the 360 twice. Both of them were shit. and then I went to PlayStation, and I thought, this is my life now.
I think the only big game console that I still have, Nintendo Wii,
Oh,
because now there's a Switch. But originally Nintendo Wii, then Wii U, and then now a Switch.
I was going to say this. Wii U, good idea, poorly executed. Poorly
Very
executed.
short-lived.
But the Wii though, I'm just saying, if the Wii was still around,
I still have it. I think they still sell games for a Wii in certain places.
yeah, but like if it was still being made and they made new versions of it, I'm just going to say this: Wii VR.
Wasn't that Xbox Connect though? Because I remember there was that whole big thing where like people had the Wii, and then at the time Xbox had that same kind of bar or
Yeah,
the Connect where you could play VR but without the headset.
I
Like the what? I don't know what to call it.
I'm going to have to do a whole thing about just games because I just want to criticize so much about some of those things.
I can help you. I'm not much of a gamer, but I have played a few things on those consoles that yeah, there's a lot to say about that.
Yeah, just if you grew up with the Wii bowling.
Wii
Bowl-
tennis.
I was just about to say that
Tennis.
bowling and tennis.
Oh wait, but also the Mii characters.
Oh yes,
Making a Mii characters. You know the song if you own or played on a Wii before.
it is playing in my head.
It is for me now too.
It's playing in my head.
And I guess even earlier than the game consoles, the very first thing I remember playing was with like those plastic flute toys. And you would play either house, I called it playing baby as a kid, and Barbies. I found some of my old Barbies that could have been cared of better over the years.
Speaking of before game consoles and own computers, Sims Park.
Whoa.
Ooh, can they please, please? I don't care if someone has to buy the rights, make a remastered version for Windows 10. I am begging you, make a remastered.
That's true.
I would sell my soul for it. Which I think is no, I say I would sell my soul for a lot of things.
That's a big statement there, Berto.
Hey, this is newer, but when you love Corpse Husband as much as I do, you would sell his soul just to sell his soul. You would sell your soul to have lunch with him.
I get the appeal. I just can't relate as much because I'm not following him as much as you do. So I vicariously live through you.
Okay, so
I think what?
I think Corpse Husband to me is Cody Simpson for you.
Once.
Well, I think this is a good time for a intermission. And we're back. I'm not saying what happened off of recording because there's a reason it's off of recording.
Oh, that's an after show that should not happen. Or be recorded.
Maybe on Patreon if I ever started. with the way YouTube is, yep.
So we were talking about games. Well,
Yeah.
Flash games because I flashed this thing. Which I'm pretty sure I have the game somewhere, but I don't know where they are. The fact that I have this and it wasn't thrown out, I'm surprised.
And if you're young enough, you'll know this one word. Minesweeper.
Or even along with that, 3D pinball.
Oof.
Like the space version of the pinball machine, when you start it up and you hear that sound,
Oh yeah.
volume for that. You can't play that silently at all.
Nope.
And just computer flash games in general. So many sites where you can play free games.
Also, I just have to say, RIP to actual Flash games because they're not continuing
Yeah, oh my
the
god.
plugin.
Anymore.
I my childhood slash teen years, some of my adult years, we're just going on to like websites, either playing stick figure games or some obscure like Cooking Mama. I I'm not
Online.
I'm not embarrassed to say I play Cooking Mama.
It's a fun game, and
Yeah.
her recipes aren't bad. Just
Uh,
the way that she cooked is questionable because it's a game.
If you want a questionable game, I don't know what it's called, but Cooking Mama 18 plus.
Oh, oh my god! I know which one that is. Where like she kills a turkey.
Yeah. Oh God.
I
I
remember playing that on y8.com.
why? Oh, that was my that was my
y8.com,
that was
agame.com, miniclip,
that was
miniclip.com.
those were my two favorite websites.
y8 and agame.com. Just give me
Oh
an
my
entire
God.
day or an entire weekend. You won't see me. I'm glued to the computer. I'll eat in front of the computer playing games. Those are fun.
For those who have seen South Park, when it came to those two websites, I was Cartman just at my computer like this, looking like the people that troll streams.
Yep.
That was not healthy.
Other good game websites, which oh damn it, if Flash doesn't work anymore. I don't know if these sites are still up. I know one of them is Neopets.
Oh my God.
I remember the last time I played Neopets was not too long ago. It was in 2016, I think, just because I wanted to play for nostalgia. Do I know my password? No. But those pets don't. Okay, well, there's always a bar that will show like how much you need to feed it, which you have to go play games to get virtual coins to get things and buy to feed said pet. It says dying, but they're not. They don't after a long time. Also, Club Penguin. Did you play Club Penguin?
I wanted to, but when it was like popular, we had no computer.
Okay, well, because you didn't get to play it then, I have good news. The original ClubPenguin.com is down, but I think there's another website that's by the creators or someone who I have no idea, but you can play Club Penguin again in its original form. Because it's not on the same original site, but the same game. Because being a secret agent on Club Penguin, there was missions on there. You can play with your friends, go down the slopes, play at the pizza parlor, the nightclub, the coffee shop on Club Penguin.
See,
So play with me. Let's play Club Penguin.
I'm trying to think of like how obscure would it be to see a 21-year-old.
Not at all. I'm 23. I'll play Club Penguin. I don't care.
Well, no, I was about to say how obscure would it be to see a 21-year-old play Club Penguin on Twitch.
Dude, I will play with you on Twitch. I will play with you. I will be your tour guide. You can become a tour guide on there. I will join you.
If I can see grown men playing, well, okay, yeah, I have seen this. If I can see grown men playing a Barbie game,
dude, I was gonna say Barbie games. Barbie.com.
I'm not going to be. I just thought of one thing that I almost played as a child.
Which was?
a Hello Kitty game. I don't know which one, but just any of the old ones. I don't know why.
Makes sense. But dude, once you get into Barbie.com, you can play My Scene, Bratz games.
Oh God, I, I, I'm not saying that because I liked it. It's just when you grow up with a sister, you know these things.
Do you remember which Bratz girl your sister liked? My favorite was always Jade, because she had a kitty cat.
I don't know. I don't know which one.
There
I
was...
just I just remember. I just remember seeing her with them, and I thought, I hate dolls.
Oh, there's four of them. Okay, so my favorite was Jade. There was Chloe. There was Sasha, and I think. Oh wait, was this My Scene or was this Bratz? But those are three that I remember. Oh, Yasmin. There we go. Chloe, Yasmin, Jade, and Sasha.
Oh, I just thought of one thing that's kind of early to late 2000s. Aside from the films, the Harry Potter games.
True. See, okay, even to this day, I'm kind of ashamed to say this. I still have not watched any Harry Potter movies or have read the books, but I know the world. I understand it, but I can't fully say I'm a Harry Potter fan because I haven't watched the movies, which I will. I promise I will.
Whenever we get our me and someone else in our friend group are trying to get another friend to watch it.
I will push them because I've never watched it either, so they wouldn't be left out or behind. I will watch.
Speaking of that, once I'm done with all this podcast stuff, might binge watch some of them.
That's not a bad idea. Because we were talking about music before, there was no such thing as Spotify or Apple Music or SoundCloud back then. We had something called a CD player, which, if you haven't seen one before, since I have it right here, this is a CD. There's the side where it has like the label and it has all the tracks on it. This is the shiny side. There was a lot of times where, oh wow, actually with this one it's actually not bad, but if you had scratches on this shiny side, you were screwed.
Don't even bring the war flashbacks.
For DVDs or for that, because you would have to buy a little thing where you put a spray and you go, it like swirls around.
Oh yeah.
Out, but I saw a thing where some people are taking their CDs and turning them into wall decor, and I'm like, why? Why would you do that?
Since we're talking about trauma, back to the VCR tapes. We had a friend over. She brought her kids. I had a VCR tape of Black Mask, the old Jet Li movie. My favorite movie of the time. For anyone who knows, once the film comes out, once the film comes out, so I saw that and I thought, and mind you, I was young, but Toxic by Britney Spears played in my head, and I thought, they're about to be down a kid. They're about to be down a kid.
That's so true, because there's the tapes inside, and even if you wanted to watch something, it's not when you like just start it, it'll automatically play. You have to rewind it all the way to the beginning, and that can take a while.
If you know the VCR tapes, you know the sound it makes. Yes, the whirling.
My dad had like an actual like thing where you would put the VHS tape in and it would rewind it for you so it doesn't mess up on the screen, because it would mess up the picture on there. We still have it somewhere in the house.
this is how much of a VCR buff I was. I had, what was it? Oh yeah, again, this shows how much of a buff I am, and how much of a messed up childhood I had. The first Mummy on VHS.
How were you allowed to watch that? I wasn't allowed to be in the room
You're,
for
you're,
anything like that.
you're talking to someone who would sit with his grandfather and watch war films. I
I
got,
would hear those and I'm like, no, I don't like this sound. That's scary. I'm gonna go
I
watch
got,
more.
I got desensitized early.
I was a little later in life.
And I think this is still relevant. Early Simpsons.
See, the only thing I never watched Simpsons, but at I think 6 or 7, I think it was 7, watching Family Guy, I knew watching it was bad, okay? I knew things on there watching it was bad, but when I saw certain things, it did not make sense to me. So let's just say I peaked at age 7 or 8 by watching Family Guy.
Just thinking back, those seasons were a lot more wild.
They were.
Seasons were a lot more wild.
And I watched that on, well, here in Canada it was called Teletoon, but for you guys it would be Cartoon Network.
Well,
Get a little
yeah.
bit.
Now it's Adult Swim, which some of the shows on there are.
That's what Adult Swim is?
Well, it once got like. I forget what year, but after a certain time, like when all the kids went to sleep, Cartoon Network would switch to Adult Swim,
Oh,
and
we don't have it in Canada.
yes, so like I timed my nights to where once it switched, I was like, bring on my shows, bring
Red
on my
naughty
shows.
child. Oh. But okay, speaking on like those kind of things, like okay, I guess going back to like VHS CDs. With CDs, if your parents want to buy a physical CD, there's a little website called LimeWire where kids listen to this. We had to download music and burn them onto CD. Reasons why you don't see them now, but there's these things called CD racks where you would put all of your CDs on there. And you can only fit like I think it was 20 or 30 songs
Yep.
on a CD.
20 or 30.
And for those that were teenagers then, if you made a CD for a special someone, like your favorite songs would be on there and you would dedicate that CD to them. And you would just like
Yep.
slip
Yep.
into them.
There was such a things as blanks.
Yep.
Blanks. I
It's like
someone. This is how you know I went to a school with messed up kids. Someone gave me one. It was all songs
well for the song.
of how much they hate me.
Oh my
Like I played it.
god,
I
they wasted a CD.
I played it at my friend's house, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" Played it, and I was like, "Okay, okay."
See, there was physical bullying and then there was that kind
Em-
where like people were just passive aggressive.
Emotional.
Ooh.
But I was like, because I thought of a plan. I thought of a plan. Because like they made a mistake. They made a mistake. You always do it with permanent marker. They did it with they did it with tape. So
What the heck?
so I ripped the tape off, wrote their crush's name on it, and,
Brutal!
and I was like, "Hey, so wanted to give this to you, walk past that person and was just like,
Oh my goodness.
you do not mess with someone emotionally, because they will mess with you emotionally and mentally.
Yeah, but like the time to download all those songs, because I remember I would go onto LimeWire and like pick a bunch of songs and start to download. Next morning, all my songs are on there. It's just a matter of burning the disc or the music onto the disc. But then you need something to play it. So there was things called a CD player, a compact player that you would have to bring around with headphones, not AirPods. You needed headphones.
We would, as kids, we would have relished Bluetooth.
Oh my, I don't think we would have used it because the technology wasn't up to date yet. Well, no, there was Bluetooth devices, but it was more for phones where it was a separate thing that you had to put around your ear.
The actual,
the earliest AirPod.
the actual earpiece.
An actual earpiece that would connect to not your iPhone, but like a smartphone equivalent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to say this in terms of phones. If you think that everyone used to have a smartphone as their first one, you were stupid as shit. First of all, my first phone was a track phone.
I
All
remember my first phone, but mine was like the text one.
Yeah, all I could do, call, text, that's it. And it wasn't, oh, I'm out of data. No, it was, oh, I'm out of minutes.
Yeah, that's true. There was only unlimited text or minutes.
Yeah,
And if you had a phone, because there was, I think there was, it wasn't known, but if you accidentally go on the browser internet thing, you had to shut down your phone so you don't get charged extra. Because it was like, I think on my very first phone, there was a text phone of some kind where they would charge you like maybe 25, 30 cents a minute on the browser in addition. I think by accident that happened because my friend's like, oh, let's go on here. I'm like, no, I don't have that on my plan.
yeah.
Don't touch that.
And then I upgraded from the track phone to a BlackBerry.
Mm-hmm.
And while I got
Wait, what BlackBerry phone? Did you have a BlackBerry Curve and were you a BBM person?
I forget what it was. All I know is it was easy to lose it.
Okay. So I remember in 6th grade, there's a few people that had the BlackBerry Curve, and I would, well, when they saw my phone, it looked very similar, but it was an off-brand of BlackBerry Curve. And they were like, oh, add me on BBM. I'm like, what's that? Most people, unless they had a BlackBerry or they knew someone with it, they wouldn't know what BBM was. And I think from my memory, it was like instant messenger for BlackBerry, so it wouldn't count as part of your text plan on your. Yeah, I don't think it was part of like what was on your phone plan for text messaging.
Oh, that's what I had.
Did you have BBM though?
No, like
Okay.
I had like the. I'm going to send you the screenshot.
Okay.
But like, once you see it, you'll know why it was so hard to lose.
Okay. 'Cause I think after that I had like the, so there was flip phones, but then there was also phones that would slide up. I had like the Sony Ericsson one where it slide up, and there was a Walkman built into it.
Oh,
I thought that alone was cool because I had an MP3 player before
Oh.
I had that phone with a Walkman. Which
See-
again, you had to download music and
Yep.
then transfer it onto the MP3 player.
okay. The one on the left.
That's a black. Oh, it was that BlackBerry
Yep.
one. I forgot the two different ones. Same kind of model, but it wasn't the BlackBerry Curve.
Yeah.
Dang, you were a cool kid with that phone. I wanted that phone. But nope, my parents didn't want to get me that because it was a little pricey.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. MP3 players, Walkmans, but even before that, CD players. Or just having CDs.
I'm trying to think like what else was there? What
Let's
else?
see, what do I have on my list?
What else?
Oh, okay. Were you? I swear I had this bracelet somewhere, but I don't remember. There's this one thing that it was supposed to be a thing of like spreading awareness for breast cancer, but people were selling it in places like Hot Topic or like Goat House. There's a bracelet that said I heart boobies. You know what I'm talking about though?
Yes.
The I heart boobies
Yes.
rubber bracelet, or people
Yep.
just wearing those like rubber bracelets or magnetic bracelets.
Mm-hmm.
The slap bracelets.
Oh God.
Those were
The slap ones. Oh,
slap bracelets.
oh
If
my
anyone
God.
doesn't remember those, it was literally like this thing
Oh,
that
God.
was the size of an average ruler. That was like a 12-inch ruler, but with that it can bend. So what people would do if they had that, they would wear it but make it straight, and as the name entails, you slap it on.
Yep. It was basic. Oh Jesus! It was basically the size of this.
Mm-hmm.
The size of this.
Some that were bigger, but yeah,
Yeah.
that size.
And
Oh, once you held that up, do you remember going to like the toy machines as a kid, and they would have like those finger traps?
oh yeah.
Which I'm trying to think of a way how to. Okay, I'm gonna hold this pen that's beside me because I'm like, if I use my actual fingers, this is not appropriate. You would take this and you put your fingers through like that,
Mhm.
and when you try to pull it apart, it tightens. So it's like, oh, my fingers are trapped.
Yeah. And I'm just going to say, in terms of the slap bracelets, those can hurt.
They do hurt.
Those-
I remember
those can
we
hurt.
go around trying to slap people's arms with that.
Because
It's like,
at lunch I would just be eating my food, and we'll be talking about school food because there was some school food that felt like abuse. But like I would just be at lunch, feel a slap, and I would be like, "Ow, damn it!" It's like I'm trying to enjoy my downtime, and I'm basically being assaulted. Like they were cute, but also ow.
it hurts. I think maybe that's why they were discontinued now that I think about it.
Yeah.
What's another thing I have? Oh, okay. In elementary school during gym class, I think I remember this in kindergarten, but way up to grade 3 we still used it. There was a thing where it's like a rainbow heart, and like there would be handles and like you lift it up. I remember in kindergarten that was a game. Do you remember that?
Oh yes.
Where, like everyone would go like this and it would make waves on it, and then the
Yeah.
teacher would be like, okay, 1, 2, 3, and everyone ran under
Yeah.
the rainbow heart. Dude, that was the most magical thing for me at the time. At age 4.
This might be because I'm out of touch with what they sell for kids, but the like jump ropes.
Oh my gosh, wait. Did you or your sister ever have a skip it? Please tell me you know what a skip it is. Because when you said jump rope, I'm like, skip it. So pretty much, it's like, okay, the version I had was a dollar store version. There was a more expensive one, but it's pretty much like there would be a loop, and then there would be a string, and then a thing that's like a shaker or a ball. You pretty much put it on your ankle and you would skip around with it. I remember the girls that would have that, those of us that had one and were playing with them on the playground, we would go around and people would pretend to jump on them, or you would sneak up behind someone and that would hit them in the ankles. But the one I had was the dollar store version where it had like a little strawberry on the end. The more expensive ones you can get, it was just like a straight hole or something. And then the ball at the end wouldn't be shaking, it would just like rotate, and it had streamers on it.
Oh boy.
That was a cool one, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna get this dollar store version. Works the same.
Here's one thing that I completely forgot about, but it was a big thing in my childhood. Bionicles. It was
Those didn't make sense to me.
I
don't know why.
They didn't make sense. Like Loki didn't like the toys. I just like the animated movies because those were good.
Transformers.
It was kind of like if Transformers and Legos had a love child.
Yeah, I would say that's a good description of it.
And here's one thing that I think some kids missed out on: early SpongeBob.
Oh my goodness.
Early SpongeBob.
I remember in elementary school, whenever it would be like snow days and the few people that arrived to school, they would just play that all day. Just sit down, watch SpongeBob all day.
Now that I think about it, I think when we were growing up, I think we had the better kid shows.
We did.
Because
animations that probably would be canceled right now because of certain things in episodes.
Rocco's Modern Life.
Yup.
And speaking of SpongeBob and being canceled, kids nowadays are going to miss the panty raid.
See, I don't know what that. Oh, okay. I'm gonna search it later, but I don't remember that. Is that a newer episode or?
No, it was partially old, but basically, Patrick and SpongeBob were trying to show Mr. Krabs some fun, so they.
Oh, I think I remember.
Yeah,
that episode.
They offered a panty raid, and Mr. Krabs is like, "Now you're getting my attention."
Oh, yep. Now I remember.
I was like,
search. I'm like, yep.
Yeah, but it's like if kids saw it, especially when I saw it, I just thought like, oh, it's something fun. I didn't know like what it actually was.
They were streaking pretty much.
Basically.
Streaking through the bikini bottom.
And again, when I got older, I was like, bikini bottom. Like, the gears turned, and I was like, oh.
SpongeBob is still a classic, though.
Oh yeah.
Please don't ruin our childhood and cancel that. You can cancel that episode. Don't cancel that show. It's still on, I think they're still on the air making new episodes.
Yeah. Like, if you cancel the whole show,
I might hate someone. So much.
I want to say something. I really do. But how harsh do I want it to sound?
Dude, that was your childhood. You claim it.
Okay.
I would do the same. I watch SpongeBob here and there. You do it.
If you cancel SpongeBob, I will cancel your mom for making you.
Okay, I didn't expect it was gonna go there.
That's why I said how harsh do I want it to sound?
Well, it's out there, so hold on. I have to look through my list of other things.
I shall deal with the consequences when they arise.
Oh, okay. Were you cool enough to have an iPod Nano or an iPod Shuffle?
Girl, I could barely afford I had to get basically a CVS version of a MP3.
That's what I got because an iPod Nano at the time was like, I think 100 something.
It was,
but still, nope.
it was close to how much our phones are now.
Yeah. Like it
which
didn't seem like a lot, but the equivalent of it was a lot of money.
which basically which basically is saying something now because it's like,
Inflation.
yeah,
Inflation.
I mean, Apple stuff now is like,
That's a down payment for a car. I want to say a house, but not quite.
it,
For
it's
a
a
car.
it's a down payment for a used car.
Yeah, used car. There you go. Thank you. Yeah.
And I just have to say, even though I have one that's as big as my hand, why does a phone have to be as big as my hand?
Okay, my hand, my phone. The fuck?
I have to get the kickstand thing out, but boom.
It doesn't fit in your pocket properly.
I mean, mine got guy jeans and all, but mine does. But it's like, why do I need a phone that I can slap a person with?
Hmm, that's true. Even for me, like for girl jeans, I have to put it in my back pocket. I have to remember it's there, otherwise I sit on my phone. I don't
Although,
want to crack my screen.
although I have to say, I'm glad it's this big because just like with the BlackBerry I sent you, that was easy to lose, especially because, like the name entails, it's black. So if it was in a dark place, unless the screen lights up, you could tear your whole room up. And then you look up, and then you look on your bed, and it was on top of the pillow in plain sight. Those are 5 hours I hope I won't get back.
Okay, what other things? Did you have or play with Beyblades?
Oh God, I forgot about those.
I
It was
used to
like,
tease the boys in my class for having, because I guess from what I remember, there's a plastic
yeah,
thing or like a dome where you can have Beyblade battle.
I like looking back, I'm like, why?
The concept of it was cool though, because like I think way before that, in like I guess our parents or grandparents' age, they had wooden tops. Beyblades, you would put the I guess pull string into it, and then you rip it like a zipper, and it would just turn itself. But those things also got pricey too, because there's the standard ones, and there's the ones that had like arms on them, so they can like knock the other one over.
And then don't even get me started on losing a piece because you had to build them. You had to build them.
Oh, that's true.
So
Oh, speaking of building stuff, though. Okay, I'll let you continue, and then I'll go on to another thing.
I mean, I'm done. It's just the flashbacks.
I didn't know you had to build them.
Well, like,
I would just make fun of the board, add them, and I was like, why do you care so much? It's just a little toy. And then, yeah, I haven't gotten a earful for that.
I mean, in terms of toys and stuff, I got out of it now because, oh my god, it's just way too much. Early Pokemon, like the first however many.
Pokemon cards.
Yes, the first
Dude,
however
Pokemon
many.
cards are selling. I try to tell my friend, like, do you still have your Pokemon cards? Because look up how much they are.
Yeah,
I didn't know how valuable they were until I guess now in this age where there's certain codes or like little things on those cards
Yeah.
that are worth so much money now.
I had one that was like, I don't even know what it had on it, but I was watching a YouTuber unbox some because quarantine, I have no life. But I saw it and I was like, ah! Because like I had a card with that exact same stuff on it
Oh
as
no!
a kid. And so
Oh
if
my
and that one sold for like $500.
Imagine parents that like they throw out their kids' thing and then their child comes home and explains the whole thing. Like, you could have sold a lot. That's why I think
They-
even people, they save their things as much as they can, because one day they could come back up and they're worth like $10,000.
I saw something that a guy had a collection of Pokemon cards that he was going to save for his kids' college fund. That should say how much he had. His
Damn.
his in-laws came, threw it away because as
Oh my god, no.
I mean he got them back because it wasn't the trash time, but they basically said, "Oh, you're too old for Pokemon cards." My thing would be, you're like 70. Why do you still have makeup on?
That's another thing to talk about at another time.
It's like,
But yeah, I can understand where
yeah,
some people come from with that.
yeah, it's like, plus, this might just be me because I'm decent. You don't throw someone's stuff away without asking, without talking.
That's true.
It's
Okay,
like,
there's Pokemon cards that are hype right now, but Yu-Gi-Oh cards,
oh,
like Yu-Gi-Oh did not. I don't think that'll ever come back up. But there was always like those people that played Yu-Gi-Oh battles or Pokemon battles.
I have to say, Yu-Gi-Oh has come back up.
Has it?
Yes.
It hasn't been popping on my social feeds, but okay, I'm gonna wait and see.
I mean, I had a pretty hefty amount, and I went back to see like what some of the cards are worth.
And
I'm not saying it was a lot. I'm saying I could have had pizza for a whole month.
okay. I wonder what the comparison would have been, but I'm like, I don't see Yu-Gi-Oh popping up, so I don't know. I have no idea.
It's basically hype on eBay.
Oh,
Because if you have like the old, especially the Japanese ones,
mm-hmm.
the Japanese ones are like, some people will do some stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. Some people will do some stuff to get it.
Okay.
Take that how you will. take that how you will.
What else do I have? Okay, so you mentioned Lego, which, I mean, Lego is still relevant now. People bought Lego sets during quarantine to build. I'm still tempted to buy one, but I'm like, I don't know what I'll do with it later. But, okay, this was more when I was in 5th grade, so that was 2008. Did anyone in your class play with tech decks? Those little finger skateboards?
Oh my god. Those were so annoying. Those were so
They were
annoying.
annoying, but I had a friend who, I swear, if he's not doing business now, I am not in contact with him anymore, sadly, but this kid was a hustler for tech deck stuff. So he had an older brother that would buy him, like, the little parts and stuff, because you can well, there's different kind of boards, there's, like, little tools and stuff to change the wheels on them. You can change, like, how a regular skateboard would be. He would get those with his older brother, buy them in bulk, and would sell them to my friends. Like, oh, you want to know, $5 or $10, depending on like the rarity of the thing. And if you wanted to sell like the little tools to change like the wheels and everything, like this kid was a hustler. It was for tech deck. I think I saw them come up a bit on TikTok, and I'm like, oh, I forgot about those.
Yeah, this is a little bit before my time, but again, still my time. Cabbage Patch Kids.
Those dolls were creepy to me.
They were.
They were pretty creepy.
Why was their head so bulbous.
But that's why it's called Cabbage Patch, though, because it's like you look at the head of an actual cabbage, like the most inner part. That's the shape of their heads.
I mean, oh, I don't know why this was popular, but at the same time, I had a pretty I've seen some pretty interesting things as a kid. A Chucky doll. Those were, sadly still are, popular.
You're not talking about like some random Spirit of Halloween store, right? Where they would have them.
Some of them, but I went to like the store that we had in Ohio called Myers. I was just walking in the toy aisle, and I saw him, and I saw him. I kid you not. The entire time I was going through the aisle, my eyes were just like this, like just fixated on whether that fucker even moved an ear.
Yep, that's creepy.
But I want to know if I'm the only kid who did this, who had like Toy Story dolls or toys, left them sitting up after watching the film, and just hid somewhere to see if they moved. Was I the only weird kid that did that?
Well, I mean, no, because I tried doing that too. Because like, was it Cabbage Patch Kids where the eyes would move side to side, or was it like when you flip the doll up and down, it would like roll its eyes back?
I hate those. I hate those with a vehement passion.
Yeah.
But again, I had a weird childhood. I knew a person who had a doll that did not have movable eyes or anything like that. She showed it to me and my friends. Its eyes were moving. There was no part of it that could move except like the arms and legs. So once the eyes moved, my fight or flight instincts kicked in. I ran at the speed of shite.
Oh boy. Yeah, dolls were weird, and I'm like, I get that some people collect some dolls now, but like even just with Barbie dolls, like the average Barbie doll, you can pop its head off.
Like I don't mind.
I remember doing that to one of them, and I'm like, now how do I put it back? I could, but it was kind of creepy.
I don't mind like Barbie dolls and stuff. It's just dolls that are like the proportionate size of an infant.
But I mean, well, I guess that could be another conversation of like how the heads of a doll could be, and like how the dolls were dressed. I'm saying slowly because I'm trying to make sure I say what I'm thinking. Yeah,
I mean,
that's another conversation.
yeah, especially if you're like me, who's been in two and a half haunted apartments. You learn not to trust any inanimate object at all.
You're kind of glitching, Berto.
Of course I am. Oh, of course I am. As soon as I bring up spirits, my Wi-Fi goes to shit.
Other things that we can quickly mention. Do you remember playing the game MASH?
Mash.
Where like people would write like the letters, and like for that was like the first category, M being for man. Like it was the game where it would predict your future life. So like
Oh,
M would be
oh,
for man,
oh yeah,
apartment, shack, house,
yeah,
and then would be like you have babies. Who's gonna be your partner?
oh yeah.
You have, it was another one of those categories. But I remember playing that for fun, and I would get excited when one of my friends would put someone that I was crushing on. And I was like, please be them, please be them, please be them. But also with those paper games, I guess, booty catchers is what I call them.
Oh god, those.
But realistically, it's a paper fortune teller. I
Yeah.
don't know if they're called booty catchers because that didn't make any sense. Yeah.
All I know about those are I would judge anybody that did like the paper things because it's like why?
That was me as a kid, though.
I mean,
I would play MASH, I would make origami, I would make fortune tellers. I think I sold a few of them to a few people for like 50 cents.
oh wow.
They were cool. And they were fun depending how they were decorated. Oh, okay. I don't know how you're gonna feel when I say this, but I'm pretty sure it was 2010 exactly, or 2009. Silly bands.
I forgot what those were. Yes.
Silly bands. I'm sure I have them somewhere in my room. But for kids that don't remember, you were still young and just collected them for the fun of it. The concept of it now, and even before I got into collecting silly bands, okay, I understand. But pretty much, for those that don't know, think they were pretty much rubber bands, okay? They were rubber bands, and I remember my mom saying, "Why are you spending money on these?" And there was a knockoff that people would shape, but pretty much the brand silly bands, the rubber bands were worn as bracelets. The more you had, it was like you were cool.
Yeah.
The shape of them is what people were looking at, and that was the phase where I was still a secret Justin Bieber fan. I got the Justin Bieber pack from Silly
Oh
Band,
god.
but those things were expensive though too.
Yeah.
Like you would get 20 bands that are different shapes and like different licensing on it. And I remember people would trade if you had a higher value. I had the shape of Justin Bieber. People were asking me for so many things to trade. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'll trade you any other Justin Bieber one that I have. You can't take that one because I knew it was somewhat of a popular one.
Yeah.
And then I got a few like dollar store random ones also that I traded. Yeah. Those were a thing. It made sense, but people spent money on them. They were a thing. I can't say they were cool, but they were a thing. Also, instant messaging.
Oh yeah.
Things like MSN. Was another one that people use. I used Yahoo Messenger. There was, I guess if you're much older, there was things like AIM, but this is 2000s, so we're not going into that.
Yeah.
There's eBuddy, I remember that people use. And then,
Oh.
a lot.
Here's one thing that is like the granddaddy to Zoom that nobody uses anymore. I hope so. Skype. Nobody.
Oh my gosh. Before there was Zoom, there was Skype.
Yes. And like now, looking back, I don't know if it was just my Wi-Fi or something. It has so many glitches. I mean, Zoom does too, but I think that's just more my hamster wheel of a Wi-Fi.
I mean, there was also Google Hangouts too.
Oh yeah.
I don't think that I did it. I have no idea.
I still, my phone still has the app for it. Oh no. Now it's called Duo.
Yeah, Google Duo. Yep, that's true.
But I like why use that when you have Messenger, video call, and Zoom, mostly Zoom.
What's another thing? There's things like Polly Pocket that
Oh
existed.
God.
Strangely enough, that has come back as
Oh
well as
yeah.
pet shop toys. Um,
Like all those things my sisters played with that. I was just like I get why they're popular for girls. I just hated them because I had to pick them off the floor.
the equivalent of that now is Shopkins.
Oh God. My cousin is like those, and I'm like, don't judge, don't judge, don't judge, don't judge out loud.
Yeah, that was the thing.
I have to say, shopping for kids now,
Oh my God, you never know what they're into.
I I had to call my grandmother because she knows my cousins better than I do because I don't keep in touch with them because they're young. So I'm like, hey, what's something cheap?
But something cheap, but they would appreciate, and it's on trend somewhere.
Yeah, and it's like, why can't I just buy them like why can't it just be when it was in the early 2000s and I could just buy them like a silly band or something.
Yep.
Although silly bands for a 5 to 6 year old probably isn't the best idea.
They wouldn't know what it is. That's the thing.
Like I just wish like why can't Barbie dolls be cheap? And why can they not have thousands of them so I can buy them one?
Mm-hmm. That's true. Uh, okay, this is one that I randomly came across before we started recording. There was like you know how there's toothbrushes, right? Well, obviously, using a toothbrush, but there was
Yeah.
a toothbrush that was meant for kids where when you press the button, music would play or
Oh
whatever
yeah.
artist it was, and the time when the music starts and it ends is like 2 minutes when you're supposed to brush your teeth.
Hmm.
I had a Hannah Montana one, and the brand of those that I found as I was thinking about that, Tooth Tunes.
Oh God.
The Tooth Tunes toothbrush. I got so sad when the battery started running out for that because it's like, oh, I can't use this toothbrush anymore.
I just thought of something that I don't think they make anymore. A portable DVD player.
Oh my gosh, that's true.
Like cuz now it's just either Apple Movie or any of those, but it's like it was something special about going into a car, playing like Finding Nemo
Mhm.
on that.
Even cars too, like the car that my family has, there's a portable DVD player attached to it. And it's like, why did we get this car? No one uses those things anymore. We don't really watch our DVDs that we have anymore because there's online streaming platforms that you can use and you can watch from your phone.
Oh, I don't care what anyone says. If I can't stream a movie, I will walk my fat ass. Well, okay, not walk because there's hills, but I will take my fat ass to a store, find the movie I want, buy it, and if anyone says why buy movies anymore, I'll say, hey, fuck you.
Okay, the $5 bin of DVDs at Walmart. You'll find a lot of classics in there.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of like going out to buy like the physical movie, Blockbuster.
Blah. Yes.
Blockbuster! Or even,
That
I think they stopped putting them out, but there was like actual things I remember in a Walmart where you can rent DVDs from a machine.
red box.
Redbox, there we go. Yep.
Mine still
Redbox DVD.
mine still has it. Mine still has it.
Oh, really?
My Walmart and one of my Walgreens.
I haven't seen them in ages.
But like I remember the magical nights of walking into Blockbuster, fi- finding a movie. Mexico still has one.
They still have Blockbuster?
They still have. I don't know if they do now, but like in 2017 or 2018, they still had one.
Eh.
And then when I saw a Blockbuster tweet, I want to say last year, I was like, "You came back for me." I was like, "You came back for me."
Because I think mainly Blockbuster was known for VHS. And
Yeah.
then DVDs, and then they sort of started to phase out.
As soon as the Blockbuster for my childhood clothes, I was like, I mean, obviously I didn't know because I was a kid. I was just like, oh, it's we can't go anymore. Okay, but now I'm like, please, all the gods and dark lords, bring it back.
Okay,
This
I'm
is
having one. Okay, I'll let you continue.
this is probably why I'm haunted because I always say dark lords. This is probably why I'm always haunted.
No. Okay, so the thing I was gonna tell you, which I showed you at the beginning before we started recording, and I've been playing with this whole time. I don't know if it was a thing anywhere in the U.S., but there were times in elementary school where they would bring like a few grades, a few classes would go to the movie theater for a day. And there was a thing where, like, you know, with the 3D glasses, right? Like they had
Oh
the
yeah,
plastic lenses inside.
oh yeah.
So this was a thing when I was in fourth grade where people would pop out the lenses, put white masking tape, and wear them like this as nerd glasses. And that was when the whole trend of like nerds are cool was going around. And I remember going to school like this. I have Facebook pictures with me wearing these.
I I'm not. I usually I try to like find some joke to lightly roast, but I can't because there was a small voice in the back of my head as a kid where I was like, should I get some Harry Potter glasses?
Dude, these are like that. But I remember like people wearing these, but it was a really bad sick joke like how I'm doing now. I'm scratching my eye. We're poking the
Yeah.
eye. And then there was the fashion glasses that
Oh,
they would sell at places like Claire's.
oh God, Claire's.
Claire's is a bit more tame now, but it's like I remember going in there just to buy, well, mainly earrings, but like I got the keychains from there. And for my Canadian people, Ardeen or Ardennes, however you speak of it, or however you say it, still is like that, but it's a bit more mature now, kind of. But yeah, those keychains are pretty cool.
There was a store that I went to, kind of went to as a kid. I believe it was Big Bear. It was like a smaller version of a Walmart.
Mhm.
That in a Ohio chain called Giant Eagle, which was like basically a grocery store. If they were still around and I was still there, I could tell you where things were like the back of my hand. Why is it that the most exciting thing about my childhood was a grocery store?
I mean, grocery stores were really fun because, like, even sometimes now, if I go grocery shopping with my mom, it's like you go into the snack aisle, you're
Oh,
just looking, and then a few things suddenly appear in the cart. And it's like, oh, how did that get there?
I mean, hey,
And you get
now,
snacks
now,
to bring home.
yeah, now I go into the Hispanic aisle, and I'm like, resist the urge to grab five of everything.
Oh, that's another thing we could do. Filipino snacks and Mexican snacks.
I'm. Oh, what's? I just thought of one that's one that I always ate as a kid. Uh, it was basically a a marzipan candy.
I could never get into eating that. They were, I don't know, the marzipan I ate was always so tough.
Not this one. Not this one. Ow. Look up De La Rosa candy. Those are so soft to the point where if you unwrap them, you have to be careful because they crumble. But if you gave me a box of those, it would be gone within an hour.
Good to know, good to know. Yeah, that could be a thing too.
Oh, this is another thing about my childhood, but I'm going to tell you about it off camera. It's
Okay.
it's good. It was like a bonding moment between me and my mom. But to break it down, we were in the car. We just left, I think, Walgreens to get her a new phone charger. We pull in to a little strip with lots of Hispanic stores. God, I miss that strip. But so we're unpacking the phone charger, and some action happens with some cops and some people. That's all I'm going to say there because I to this day I don't know what happened, but what I do know is it was like a rave with all the flashes, with all the cars. It was like a rave.
Okay, so sorry, audience. I'm the only one that's gonna know about this.
Yeah,
Sorry, not sorry, but
I am mostly not sorry. I'm mostly not sorry.
there's a few other things that I have. Jansport backpacks with the cool designs on them.
Oh yeah,
The worst support, but cool backpack.
I my friend let me wear one. That was the youngest I experienced back pain. That was the youngest. Now, now I'm like, oh, oh, young me, you you don't know. You don't know.
Yep. That's where the back pain started. It's still gonna keep going.
Why is it that I'm only 21 and I'm like, ah, waking up with back pain.
I mean, one could be mattress. Two, develop over time. Three, overexerting to the point where your back should not really be like that.
4,
And carrying,
Goodwill.
yeah.
I This isn't about like growing up, but for anyone who worked in retail or just had to lift heavy stuff, if you have to lift a, a crate full of glass, specifically plates and cups, off of the floor, put it onto a cart, push said cart,
Mhm.
and doing that from 9 to 4,
Yeah, that's not fun.
especially with a bad knee. I'm going to say this: if there's any kids watching, $9 an hour, no matter how good that sounds, it is not worth it.
Not worth it if there's any kind of.
The entertainment that comes from stupid customers, that was something.
Stories to tell.
Oh my God. I'm just going to say this. Don't walk into a store and try to pay with a gift card from a different store. They will look at you and the couple might call you stupid out loud.
Yep. You will be judged because you caused it upon yourself.
Some might say it in a different language, so they don't lose their job or their pay.
Oh yeah.
So basically me. I talk shit about a couple employees in Spanish because one, they didn't speak Spanish. Two, three of my coworkers did.
I mean, if you don't, it's not our fault.
Especially if you walk in the back as a customer because you're too impatient.
Other things. Did you ever play Farmville on Facebook?
I used to.
I was obsessed at one point, and I don't think Farmville exists anymore, sadly.
They have a bunch of those games on the Switch now. Like it's not Farmville, but it's like games like that. Especially
Yes, though.
especially Plants vs Zombies.
I love that game. I'm trying to play it again.
Plants vs Zombies. Oh my God.
Plants vs Zombies was my ish.
And I'm just going to put this out there because it's made a comeback now. Me and Ann have spent countless nights playing it. Minecraft.
Oh, okay. Listen here. Minecraft is one of those things
Oh,
that even kids to this day. There's family vloggers where these girls are obsessed with playing it, and they just discover what an Enderman is.
your first
No matter
Enderman.
what age, no matter what age, Minecraft will always be relevant because it's adventure, it's creativity. You're building societies. You're learning to survive. I mean, you can learn life lessons. It's just Minecraft is all pixels, and there is nothing that's pixelated other than on a computer screen.
Just don't go around punching trees expecting them to break.
Don't punch.
I
Don't punch a pig, please. Don't punch chickens.
punch a zombie. You can definitely punch a zombie. Just
Be careful.
just if you punch a zombie, like they said in Zombieland, which also great movie from my teenage years, Zombieland, watch it. If you punch a zombie, have good cardio. They are going to chase you because you punched them.
Have other tools. Have more than one tool than just these. These things.
See what I'm sitting on? A chair. That is all you need, a chair.
I was gonna say a knife.
I have a lot of those too. I have a lot of those too. Oh, here's something that from growing up and still now. Going into a thrift store as a kid.
Oh my gosh. The fact that people go into thrift stores now to find like cool things. Back then, if you went into a thrift store, there wasn't things that you could really find that were worth buying. I would say.
I mean, the main thing that you go into a thrift store as a kid to get is either toys or a shirt that has pretty colors.
Yep.
That's or the like little candy machines.
Yeah.
Those are basically it.
Yeah, that's it. Now people go in there with the intention and somehow the time to look for name brand stuff in a thrift store, which if you're one of those people, all praise to you, because if I go in a thrift store, I don't know what I'm looking for still to this day.
Girl, if I had $1, I had so many people come into the store I worked at, looked at the jewelry, and asked if it was real. I'm
Wrong
like,
place.
I'm like obviously I had to keep my customer service face slash voice on, but up here I was like, can you read? Can you can you read? It says Goodwill.
Pawn shop.
It says Goodwill, not Dave's. Like not some. It doesn't say Mary Kay. It says Goodwill. Like
Go to any pawn shop. You'll find that. Not Goodwill.
I have a gold watch on here. It's fake. I don't care. It's cute. Like if you go into a Goodwill store, mostly 99.9% of the stuff there is either gold plated or steel.
Mm-hmm.
And
What
if
kind of thing?
and if it's there was only one time we had something that was real. They got upset that the price was $100. It's like if you want real, you're getting the real price. It's like if you want you want something real, then complain it's $100.
I
When
mean, that's low for where you're buying it from.
yes,
Then don't buy it from there. It's a legitimate thing, but that's
Like-
not the price tag for it.
yeah, like we had a ring that the diamonds were fake, but it was it was actual gold. Extremely pretty. 150. Tell me that is not a deal. Tell me that is not a deal.
No, but just my own very very frugal mind. I'm like, that's still a lot.
Well, we the way the pricing goes is like we look at it and we go, it's around this much, but still for fake diamonds and real gold, 150 is still a deal.
It is.
Because I told a person who was Latina, I said, look, you're at a Goodwill store. And like I know how some Latinas are. Don't come at me, Latinas, you know it's true. She was trying to find some nice jewelry. So I said, Mira, if you want this ring, you can get it. And the best part is, unless you go to some fancy dinner where they have like 40 carat stuff and LV, who's going to know? Who's going to know?
I mean, unless you're friends with someone that's a jeweler, then no one can really tell. I don't think.
I don't mean to speak ill much, but she looked like her friends either work at Taco Bell or Target, which no hate to people that work at either of those, but still. You can kind of get a feel of people.
That's true. Like, there's other places where you can go. Anywhere. Why are you here? At this store.
I had a woman who asked if we had anything other than Michael Kors bags.
Go to another location.
I said you can check our website, which the Goodwill website, it actually has some nice stuff up there. It actually has some nice stuff on there. But I'm like, you can check our website. And she was like, do you have any in the back? And I was like, I don't know, because at the time I worked up front because I couldn't walk. So I was like, I don't know. And she said, well, could you check? 5 minutes prior, she asked me why I was up there. I said I could barely walk. Retail, I hate it.
Yep.
I hate it.
Let's see what other things that we can quickly finish up on. Teen magazines, Tiger Beat,
Oh.
14. I was guilty of those. They were $5. I think now they're $7. I don't have them just for nostalgia's sake, but the quizzes in there. That is how I first learned at 10 years old how to quote unquote flirt with my
Oh
crush.
God. They still
Also, the posters in there is what you're paying for.
yeah.
My room was decked out, an entire wall with posters of my favorite
I
celebrities.
mean, they still make it. They still make it, but it was more prevalent as a preteen/teen. At least for the people I knew, Cosmo.
Oh, see, I wasn't that person. I was J14, Tiger Beat, Bob
That's-
Magazine.
That shows the type of people I was around.
Wow, they be fancy though.
I mean, they would acquire it from their moms.
Okay, that's fair. They
Or-
didn't have to pay. I paid for my own with my allowance.
Or if they were really daring, they would go to the magazine section, just like the snacks, look, and then pull a Mary Poppins and just merrily pop the magazine in there. Don't come at me. Don't come at me for my bad wordplay. Shut up.
But dude, the posters though, some of them are like this big, some are really small. I didn't need to really paint my walls, I just covered it all over the place.
They were about as big as these.
Yeah, they were foldable in magazines. I would buy magazines just for posters. I would buy them based off of the posters.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I almost snatched my sister's Katy Perry poster because it was during her. It was one from her firework song,
Oh,
which
that
which I loved the posters from those. So I was like, how can I sneakily, like, stealthily take this? Because they were big.
Oh, okay.
They were big.
You know those posters? I'm gonna tell you a story off camera about
Oh boy.
one that I had and I kept. I don't think I have it anymore, but those posters of your favorite celebrities. What else was there? People saying YOLO or swag to everything. Me and Berto have recently learned a new term for swag. For any of our friends that are watching this and you were there, yep. Swag has a different meaning.
Oh my god. I'm trying. Oh, here's a game that I played as a kid. A few games I played as a kid that were so fun. Foursquare
Oh my gosh.
and what was the other one? Oh, this one. Like any kid slash preteen has to play this once. Fucking Dodgeball.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I hated it. But I played the regular version, then there was another version that I played in gym class called Dodgeball King's Court.
oh, fuck that. First of all,
There was like all the little lines.
yeah.
But for that version, if you got hit, you have to go on the opposite team side where like the outer lines were.
Yeah.
And if you were randomly able to catch a ball and you were get back in on your team's side. That game never ended.
There, there was there was a version of dodgeball that we played at one of my schools. I think it was down here in Georgia. They decided tennis balls were good
For dodgeball?
for dodgeball.
How?
Okay, like there wasn't
Why?
there wasn't many people that got hit because again, tennis balls are like this. They're
Dodgeball
small.
is like my head, and I have a
Yeah,
very small head.
yeah, but like when you did get hit by the tennis balls, they hurt.
I mean, even a dodgeball hurts. That's made of rubber. But yeah, tennis balls hurt a little bit more.
Plus, if they like, let's say it like grazed your arm, it was fast and hard enough, you can get rug burn because tennis balls are furry.
Yes, they are.
So I'm just gonna say there were a few times, guys and girls, they got hit in the worst parts.
Oh yeah.
Like I got hit in like the like right here on the side of my jaw.
Ooh.
That hurt. So I was like kind of stunned. I was like, okay, ow. Hit in the worst part for a guy, and I kind of like white flag. I surrender. Got it in the knee. Well, it was like knee, but on the like reflex part.
Oh, ooh.
So
I'm
I
imagining that you instantly fell down from that because.
well I was I was already on the ground, so I just said out loud, I said there are I did not scream. I said there are other targets. Why is it just me?
Yeah, you're already down. Why are you bringing me down even more?
And like one of my friends was the one who tossed the most balls. I said, dude, in video games, if you shoot the guy while he's dead, you don't keep shooting him.
Yeah.
You don't keep
Don't
shooting
go to
him.
someone else. You already did what you did. Please.
So yeah, if you and your homie is playing dodgeball with any ball, if the fucker is down, if the fucker is down, don't keep hitting him.
Yes, please don't.
That is sadistic.
What's a play? Oh, I hope kids are still playing this in elementary schools, but then again, maybe not now because of COVID. But in recess, there's a game that we used to play, which was called Red Rover.
Red Rover, yes.
Red Rover. We called whoever over. I remember we had to stop
Oh
playing that
God.
because some people would be so aggressive. Because you want to break through the barrier, right? But then someone got flipped over by accident. One too many times.
Again,
Um,
I have a story. I forget most of it because I've heard it so many times that it just gets jumbled. But my mom, when she was young, played Red Rover with an injury. So, knowing Red Rover or any game kind of like that, you don't tell them your weak spots. They will exploit that to the fullest extent. So she said, hey, don't push me or do anything to me on the spot. I'll give you guys three guesses. They, like I said, exploited that weakness. B, avoided it. Or C, they all went to get Wendy's after. If you said anything except they exploited it, this ain't Disney. So when I heard that, I was like, first of all, sounds about right. B, like most of the things I hear about life, why? Why?
Yeah, that's bad.
Oh, here's two games I feel like every kid needs to play at least once. Tag slash freeze tag.
Freeze freeze tag over regular tag.
Amen.
Or what was that other manhunt?
Oh yeah.
Playing manhunt.
I just thought of something. How would freeze tag work in Among Us?
Oh my god! Okay. Anyone that works for Among Us, this
Oh
is
my-
our idea. Oh my god, the concept of that. Well, but even just playing regular tag on Among Us.
Yeah, like
Hmm.
I have some ideas. I'm not gonna say because copyright pending, patent pending. But yeah, but also if you or your friends have a decent sized house slash apartment, hide and seek can get creative as hell.
Mhm.
Especially if you're short and can fit in like if you have the type of house that has like the small cupboard and like a hidden seat thing, if you can fit in like any small place, you can use your friend's own stupidity against them.
Mhm. Yep. You can.
May or may not be speaking from the stupidity side. I had a person hide in the washer.
How big was the washer?
It was like one of the standing ones, so it was deep, but the person had long legs. So I was like, "Where are you?" So they had their phone on them. So I was like, okay, fuck this. I called them. Especially now, if you're a kid and you're playing hide and seek, you see this, yeah, turn it off. I called them, and apparently, a washer has good acoustics.
I don't know why I was thinking, wouldn't the dryer be better?
Yeah, but
For the washer, there's that thing,
yeah.
nozzle in the middle, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like the old standing ones?
It was the dryer.
Okay.
But yeah, so their ringtone was a Far East Movement song. So I was like, I called, heard the song, and my instant thought was good ringtone, but also stupid.
Speaking of ringtones, for the old phones, where you would have to pay to get like a
Oh.
custom ringtone on them, I wanted one so bad for my favorite songs. Like I would do that now, but you need an app for that, and I don't think those apps apply anymore.
I have one, like I know one app that I might get back.
Which one?
Zedge.
Why do I remember? That sounds so familiar. I don't remember.
The icon was like a purple Z.
Oh, yeah. I think I used that for a little bit.
For a free app, they had some pretty good ringtones. Plus, it was the only way I could get K-pop songs as a ringtone.
Yeah.
Holy crap! It is almost 11.
Yeah, I was like, do we still want to keep going? We had one more category, but I'm like, this
Oh
is forever.
God.
I think we should have talked about it a little bit more.
Yeah.
There needs to be several parts to this.
Oh, definitely. Oh my lord. Well, I think this is going to be.
Editing, but please watch till the end.
Please, please, especially because I was going to put this in a like a intermission clip, but fuck it, might as well just do it now to extend the video. There's going to be a charity stream in close to the end of the month. The cause is, it's bad that I forget the name. It's bad that I forget the
Come to you
name.
and you can add it
Yeah.
in.
I'll put everything in the comments. But basically it's to help Asian Americans because we all know why. We all know why.
Please
I-
be respectful too if you have friends that are.
Or if you're like me who loves the Asian culture, loves the food, everything about it, or if you just like anime, where do you think anime comes from?
Where do you think your sushi came from? And for what I'm known for, where do you think bubble tea comes from?
Or if you're cultured, food wise, where do you think lumpia rolls come from, huh?
Please be respectful. I don't want to go into it too much, but if you can, please support. If you're able to, please voice it out, not just on social media. I hold myself accountable for that too, that I want to do something, trying to find things that are local too, but one thing that you can do, donate to good causes like the charity stream Berto's gonna do.
Yeah. Or if you see a Asian person being, let's say, pushed, help them up. Don't whip out your phone and like content. You dumbass. You are part of the problem.
And if you want to learn more, look at the video that Berto did with our dear friend Macy
Oh yeah.
and learn. There's resources. Please listen to them and
Me-
educate. If you
Yeah.
care, educate. And
Go.
ask your friends too that are Asian. We're more than happy to tell you what's okay and what's not, but it also varies person to person what they're okay with.
Yeah, and there's these two things called Google and Bing that are free. That's not just for finding recipes or your nearest Wendy's. So yeah, don't be a dick. If you're a 90s baby, I love you. If you're a 2000s baby, I love you a little less. I'm joking.
Maybe in 2010, and you're part of the nonsense that happens online now. We care
And-
about you, but we care about because we want the best for you. And
Yeah,
for
and
the-
I'm just going to say this, even though it's past. If you or anyone you know eats Tide Pods, natural selection. That's all I'm gonna say. Natural selection. So don't be a dick. Be smart. And what was your favorite song growing up?
or anything that we didn't talk about also from the 2000s era.
Yeah.
Is there stuff that we might get into? We might not, because this is going to be a very long episode.
Oh yeah. And also,
Didn't touch the surface on something.
yeah. And also hashtag don't cancel SpongeBob.
Don't cancel SpongeBob. Cancel the episode. Okay, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Don't cancel the show.
If you're going to cancel anything, find a show that doesn't really contribute to either entertainment or the growth of young minds.
Now I'm questioning a lot of shows that I watch.
Okay, I might have to for the growth of young minds. If your kid watches anything from Family Guy to Rick and Morty, and you're upset that it's affecting your kid, reflect on who's letting them watch it.
Yep.
Well, with all that being said, and before we go on to 12 o'clock in the morning, bye.
Bye.